The Industrial Revolution, a name coined by the German sociologist Friedrich Engels, began in England and spread throughout Europe and America during the 18th and 19th centuries. The Industrial Revolution led to the shift from production within the homes to production in large settings using special machinery and factories. The revolution brought along improvements for internal infrastructure, communication, and banking with the help of the iron and textile industries and the steam engine. However, the revolution also brought unrestricted work hours and squalid conditions for the employees and a growing gap between them and their employers. Iron, considered one of the four major sectors of the Industrial Revolution, was a dominant industry in America after the Civil War. The Midwest especially had an abundance of minerals and iron deposits, which allowed for great success. During the 19th century, after the gold rush began to dissipate, corporations formed to invest in the abundance of such iron deposits, which proved profitable with the help of specialized machinery and other technological advances. Between 1880 and 1900, steel production in America grew exponentially. In 1880, the American steel industry produced about 1.25 million tons of steel and continued to grow to about 10 million tons in 1900. In 1910, America produced 24 million tons of steel, which was by far the greatest amount any individual country had been able to produce. Coal was a terrific alternative to wood for burning, but was difficult to mine. Coal was the energy source for the Industrial Revolution and helped productivity in other industries during the Gilded Age. Mining coal was a dangerous job that required tools such as sledge, picks, and seal wedges. With the incorporation of electricity into mines in 1889, the number of coal-cutting machinery increased almost exponentially. In 1891, there were 550 machines, and in 1900, there were 3,000. After the Civil War, machinery and new technology required oil that was unseen during the antebellum period. Essentially everything needed oil between 1880 and 1900. Kerosene, first from Pennsylvania's oil fields, replaced whale oil and was a popular source of light. America had the largest presence in the oil industry until the 1950s, partly due to the great demand for it in the United States. One man, John D. Rockefeller, controlled the entire industry during the Gilded Age. The Transcontinental Railroad has roots in the Civil War, when the North was encouraged to lay down more tracks to quickly distribute manufactured goods. Subsidies allowed for railroad companies to receive thousands of dollars with every mile they covered in tracks. The Union Pacific Railroad Company laid tracks down westward from Nebraska, while Leland Stanford's Central Pacific Railroad Company laid tracks down eastward from Sacramento, California. The two companies joined tracks in Promontory, Utah in 1869. This created a boom in the railroad industry, and with it came the industrialization of a new era. Samuel F. B. Morse was the inventor of Morse code, which was a new way of communication. In 1837, Samuel Morse and his brother demonstrated an improved system that could relay messages through the use of electrical pulses. The idea led to the first telegraph between Baltimore and Washington, D.C. on May 24, 1844, and said, "What hath God wrought?" He was able to improve the telegraph, which was first built in 1774. Up until Morse's refined model of the telegraph, many believed it to be useless because there were so many wires required for it to transmit any electrical pulses. Samuel Morse was the first to make a telegraph that only required one wire, and was able to create a dot and dash system that allowed for communicating words and phrases easier, with the help of his partners. Henry Bessemer was the first man to create a process that would mass produce steel, which eventually led to the creation of skyscrapers. Bessemer's decarbonization process, which utilizes a blast of air, was patented in 1855. His process is still used today to mass-produce steel. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, and in 1877, he founded the Bell Telephone Company. With the help of two partners, Bell was able to refine Thomas Edison's phonograph, enough for it to be commercially viable. The telephone sped the industrializing process in America because it created a new and direct way to communicate. Thomas Edison was a unique man who provided many inventions that would shift lifestyle in America. The phonograph, the transmitter for the telephone speaker, an improved light bulb, and key elements for motion picture apparatus were only a few of Thomas Edison's accomplishments. In January 1880, he was granted a patent for the light bulb, and later he established the Edison Illuminating Company to provide electricity for cities. Thomas Edison's Research and Development Center was probably one of his greatest accomplishments. The Brockton, Massachusetts plant is considered the first centralized power plant. Edison used his 3-wire prototype to prove that centralized power is in fact possible. The mass production of electricity replaced candles and gas lights and helped improve the productivity of manufacturers in producing consumer goods.